Hey there, welcome back. And if this is your first time joining us, I'm so glad you're here. We've been walking chapter by chapter through the powerful journey of Abraham's life, and today's chapter is one of quiet depth and meaning. It may seem simple at first glance, but it speaks volumes about love, legacy, and how we honor those we've lost. Have you ever had to make a difficult decision while grieving, or felt the weight of needing to do something right, not just for yourself, but for the memory of someone you love? That's the space Abraham finds himself in today. We're now in Genesis 23. Abraham has experienced many tests of faith by this point. He's seen promises fulfilled, and he's walked through both joy and hardship. In the previous chapter, we witnessed a powerful moment when Abraham's faith was tested with Isaac. Now, the story takes a more personal turn, a chapter about saying goodbye and securing a future for generations to come. Modern-day reading, Genesis 23, modern translation. A modern-day reading of Genesis 23. Sarah, Abraham's wife, passed away at 127 years old in a place called Kiriath Arba, also known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham mourned deeply for her and wept. After some time, he got up from where Sarah's body lay and went to speak to the local Hittite people. He said, "I'm a foreigner living among you. Please allow me to purchase some land from you so I can bury my wife with dignity." The Hittites responded kindly, "You are respected among us. Choose any of our best tombs for her. None of us will deny you that." Abraham stood and bowed before them, then said, "If you're willing to let me bury my wife here, I'd like to buy the cave of Machpelah, owned by Ephron's son of Zohar. It's at the edge of his field. Ask him to sell it to me at full price." Ephron was among them and responded to Abraham in front of everyone, "No, my lord, I give you both the field and the cave. Go ahead and bury your wife." Abraham bowed again and said, "Please hear me. I'll pay you full price for the land. Let me buy it so I can have the right to bury her there." Ephron replied, "All right, the land is worth 400 shekels of silver, but what's that between friends? Go ahead and bury your wife." Abraham agreed and weighed out the full 400 shekels of silver as promised in front of the Hittite elders. And so the field and cave of Machpelah near Mamre became legally Abraham's. He now owned it fully as a burial site. He buried Sarah there in the cave of Machpelah, in the land of Canaan. The field and the cave were officially his, recognized by the Hittites, and became a lasting place of rest for Sarah. This is my interpretation of the text. This chapter may seem quiet compared to the dramatic events we've seen before, but it carries a depth that speaks to anyone who has experienced love, loss, and the importance of legacy. Abraham isn't just burying Sarah, he's honoring her. His careful negotiation for a proper burial site shows how deeply he valued her, and how seriously he took his role as a husband, leader, and spiritual father. It also teaches us that even in sorrow, we're still called to act with wisdom and integrity. Abraham doesn't demand special treatment, despite his respected status. Instead, he insists on paying the full price, making sure everything is handled with transparency and fairness. That decision speaks volumes about his character. This chapter is about more than land and loss. It's about the beginning of a permanent connection to the promised land. By purchasing this burial site, Abraham places a spiritual stake in the land God promised his descendants, a quiet but powerful act of faith that looks beyond his own lifetime. And lastly, we see that grief is not weakness. Abraham's tears remind us that even the strongest believers feel pain, but his actions also remind us that faith can still move forward, even when our hearts are heavy. Here's a life example for our modern times. Imagine someone who loses a loved one and must now navigate the responsibilities that come afterward, arranging the funeral, managing affairs, and honoring that person's memory. Maybe they don't know all the steps, but they want to do what's right. Like Abraham, they approach others respectfully, they seek fairness, and they make choices that reflect the love they had for the person they lost. In a more everyday sense, think of those moments when we're overwhelmed with emotion, yet still called to step up, to finalize paperwork, to make a hard phone call, or to speak in a memorial. It's in those moments we can remember Abraham's example. Grief doesn't stop purpose, and honoring someone's memory is a sacred act in itself. This is a call to action for all of us. As we reflect on Abraham's quiet strength in this chapter, we're reminded that honoring others, especially in life's hardest moments, is a holy thing. Let's choose to act with integrity, even when no one's watching. Let's be people who value others enough to do the right thing, even when it costs us something. If this story speaks to you today, take a moment to honor someone you've loved and lost. Maybe that's through a prayer, a phone call, or even a small act of kindness in their name. And as you think about your own legacy, ask yourself, what will I leave behind that reflects love, faith, and purpose? If you found comfort or inspiration here, I'd love for you to like this video, subscribe for more chapter-by-chapter insights, and comment below a memory of someone you're honoring today. And don't forget to share this with someone who may need a reminder that quiet faith still speaks volumes. Thank you for spending this time with me. Genesis 23 might not be filled with action, but its heart is full of truth. That even in our hardest moments, we can still choose love, respect, and faith. What stood out to you most today? Have you ever had to carry responsibility in the midst of grief? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Next time, we step into Genesis 24, a beautiful chapter about finding a wife for Isaac and trusting God's guidance in important life decisions. Until then, stay encouraged, live with purpose, and I'll talk to you soon.